undefeated and losing to them on a Hail Mary three-point shot. So the successes and challenges of college basketball.
JSU is sandwiched in 5th place behind Austin Peay and Tennessee State. If the Gamecocks can grab a 3 or 4 seed by the end of the weekend, they will have a bye to the quarterfinals at the conference tournament. Underway here at Jacksonville State.
Yeah, you're seeing a switch in the starting lineup because it's senior day. Belmont has all upperclassmen out there right now.
John Dillon, Barry Mathis, Craig Morley are the officials this evening. Here are the Gamecocks in the home black uniforms looking to make it 3 in a row against Belmont. Hindering them, as we documented from 3, really stretched the floor beautifully, especially at OVC action, and that was tipped away by Windler. McClain on the cross-court pass. One of the best three-point shooting teams in the nation. Currently 4th in three-point field goals made.
Belmont is a system team. The shot clock running down. They'll try to make a play. Try to get a high percentage shot.
Agakeze with 2 to shoot. Gave it up. Slicing it is McClain, and he missed the bunny. JSU mired by a 3-game losing streak to Tennessee State, Murray State, and Austin Peay. But a good rebound there by Cunningham with the right hand. In and out there, but a foul call.
Cunningham's first rebound was well above the rim. And then to have that ability off of one jump, in traffic, wheeling and dealing. Now, Agakeze has to stay out of foul trouble because they're thin up front. So they can't pick up cheap fouls from key players.
That was on Haddon of Belmont. You mentioned in the Jacksonville State lineup, Des Curry making his first career start on senior night. But Cunningham, a guy that really Jacksonville State relies on in the interior. He is a blocking machine, A.B.
He was so impressive. The last game we had 2 weeks ago, that his highlight dunk was second on plays of the week. So everything he does is aerial attack.
There's the starting 5 for Belmont, orchestrated by Luke. Just a gifted passer, one of the best assist men. On cue here for 3, and drains it.
Belmont is a textbook. The way they will try to carve you up. You have to have defensive patience. You have to sit down in that cheat for 20 seconds because they'll just move the basketball both sides and try to get a good shot.
Giga will get it back on the ball reversal for 3. And he's a matchup problem, too, because he can step out and hit that shot with confidence.
7-footer, plays well, runs easy. That's an excellent start for this young man. Look at the ball movement.
Agakeze in and out. There's Haddon with the miss. Gets it back and delivers.
Yeah, anything about Hayden, if he gives you anything offensively, which he just did, that was a bonus before Windler gets going.
Coming off a 13-point performance against Morehead State. Started the last 7 games for Bird's unit.
It's in the double team.
And the MO for Jacksonville State on the offensive end, they just need to be more productive. In talking with Giga and company pregame, they need to... It's going to be a no call here, so they're going to revoke this. No foul is called there. So 20 on the shot clock here for JSU as we're deadlocked at 5 to begin things here at the peak. JSU 9-7 in OVC play. That's good for 5th in the conference. Again, huge last 2 games for them today, and then Tennessee Tech on Saturday. 3 to shoot here for Giga, has to hoist it up. Off the heel of the big board to Windler. Had 20 rebounds against Morehead State to go with his 36.
When he tracks the ball, and again, he reminds me of Rip Hamilton, Reggie Miller, guys that were really dangerous, moving without the basketball.
And if you haven't seen Belmont before, it's Got 5 guys playing out positionless basketball, a lot of wing players, and they give them freedom to shoot that shot orchestrated by Luke there.
Rick Byrd lets these guys play. When they're strong inside, he features the inside, but the strength of their basketball team is shooting the three-point shot, and that's how they had hiccups going against Jacksonville State the last 2 times they matched up.
Yeah, the Bruins average 11 threes per game. Drum right. Down low to Giga, wants to take Haddon with the right hand. Strong on it, there's Windler. And without Brands down low for Belmont having graduated, you're going to see 5 guys out as opposed to last year for Belmont playing a 4-out, 1-in, trying to feed it in to Brands.
Yeah, Evan Brands was efficient. When you talk about one of the best field goal percentage in the history of the game, that's some Kareem Abdul-Jabbar territory.
Windler will give it up here. And it's drained in the quarter by Kevin McLean, and a timeout called by Ray Harper. Belmont on a strong start here on the road. They're up by 6 over JSU at the
right now is in position to have a single bye. So both teams have a lot to play for. Rick Byrd said, I'm an old-fashioned coach. I still believe in winning conferences if you get the opportunity. And also Jacksonville State wants to try to move up and get a bye.
At the end of the day, this is a 1-bid league in the OVC. The last time they got 2 bids, you got to go all the way back to 1987 when it was Middle Tennessee State and Austin Peay going to the dance.
That was back in my era. I was still hooping, man. I was dunking back in 1987.
Burnell with the turnaround.
Now you just noticed they've got their regular starters back in. Burnell's back in and Gregory's back in. So let's see if the defensive intensity picks up.
He has led Jacksonville State in scoring the last 5 games. Windler for 3, and that's smooth.
The last 4 times, Belmont has gotten anything they wanted off of the high screen and roll, which moves the defense, and then Windler can find an open shooter. That's how they're 4 for 6. They're on fire.
First points tonight for Windler. He's really had to step up his games we documented from the outset. First 2 seasons, he was really a spot scorer, but really shining bright this go around. Pull up there for Hunter.
I think as a starter, you just get right back into the flow. Now, what is this, the 28th, 29th game of the season. So you are who you are right now, but he has been playing well for them.
Windler taking Hunter, and he draws the charge.
I think that's his 2nd foul. Beating him to a spot. This is a good matchup. Watch this. Moving. That offhand right there by Windler. That's a big foul because 14 minutes left to go in this half.
Burton Sampson has to come in. He's mired by those 2 personals. 4th in the OVC in scoring. And you mentioned the schedule went up from 16 to 18 games. In conference action, Burnell was stripped, and here comes Belmont. McLean slicing it, looked like a magician out there and hauled in. Gregory loves these kind of drives, and he'll go to the charity stripe.
One thing both teams want to do, Belmont wants to match the physicality of Jacksonville State. So they're attacking first, they're punching first, but then live ball turnovers or missed shots, Jacksonville State at home has their track shoes on. They're moving fast.
That was on Luke of Belmont, his first. Called Gregory one of the best athletes on the team. 3rd in OVC play in steals, and he compliments a guy in Malcolm Drumright to free him up and deliver.
Yeah, the guard play. Now, Gregory, a lefty from D.C. I got to give my D.C. guys a lot of love, but he can play in the open court. He's hard to guard. So what you have to do is get back. A good defense starts with good offense because you have defensive balance.
Gamecocks have pulled this into a 4-point game.
Better job of staying attached.
Sampson for 3 off the heel. Held in by Martin. Drumright gave it up again to Burnell. Gregory for 3, and a 1-point game.
It's amazing what happens with young players when they make one good play. It bleeds over to another. Gregory drew that foul, and then came back with an impressive 3-pointer.
In and out there for Egekeze. And here comes Hunter as Jacksonville State's looking to take its first lead with Gregory. Give him 2 for 2 from downtown. And the Gamecocks have the advantage at home on a 9-0 run.
You could feel it when they subbed in, when Gregory came in, when Burnell came in. The intensity raised, and they've been answering the call.
How about the job that Ray Harper has done since coming into the program? The first year, they just had to go through the motions, but they made a run late in the tournament, upset Belmont as we documented, beat UT Martin, and then that confidence has continued into year 2.
Yeah, he was saying in the summertime when he first got there, his players were in basketball detox. Why do we have to do this? Why do we have to go at game speed in the middle of summer? But success breeds success at every level, and how about that with Coach Harper going to the NCAA tournament?
Now before was on Burnell. Here's Luke again for 3. Gregory was feeling it. Burnell with the right hand. Strong. Sampson lost it, and it's cleaned up by Cam Martin.
Davis starts with the defensive intensity. When you hold Belmont to 1 and done and then put pressure on them to guard you inside, they've been getting mileage on points in the paint. Gregory, Jamal Gregory.
17 points per game. West Virginia's 7% chance to win the Big 12, according to our ESPN.com BPI. And Joe Lenardi, ESPN bracketologist, has 7 Big 12 teams making the field.
Well, you know, a lot of damage is done. Nice job running inside. Miller back. A lot of damage is done in the non-conference season. Arizona State right now is still in the tournament because they've had 7 wins in the non-conference, even though they've been under 500 in the Pac-12.
And the latest number 1 seeds, Virginia, Villanova, Kansas, and Xavier as well. Villanova beat Xavier a few games ago. And it's delivered there by Martin once more.
Dave, that's Hunter's shot right there. That little 12-footer in traffic, high release point.
Gamecocks holding a 4-point edge. McLean slicing in. Adelsberger for the miss. And here comes Jacksonville State.
And letting them play inside the paint. Thought Adelsberger could have got that call.
Beat Belmont and also Murray State earlier this year. They lost to Buffalo and the Cayman Islands by 5. Beat Chattanooga in overtime as well. Cam Martin for 3.
You know who he reminds me of? College basketball's version. I'm going to take you back. It's Kevin Love.
Yep.
He's physical. He rebounds. He's a freshman. But also, he knocks down a good three-pointer.
Austin Luke drains his 3rd 3 tonight.
Now, Belmont knows that they've been punched in the nose twice by Jacksonville State. You can see the urgency that they're playing with because this is a physical team and they don't want to have to play catch-up against this team.
Hunter went inside to Burnell. Plays that 3 or the 4. Really good athlete there. Give him 4 points this evening. McLean slicing in. And there's the heave down, looking for Hunter again, and he gets it over Windler.
That was a thing of beauty. Coming off the bench, Burnell rebounding and tossing it back out to a streaking Hunter. Here they come again.
Drum right trying to orchestrate the transition. Hunter with the pull-up off the heel. How do you like the pace here from Jacksonville State with the advantage?
Yeah, they're getting what they want, and they're getting points in the paint and mixing up the three-point shot.
Luke was looking for Adelsberger. Will stay on this end with 21 to shoot as Haddon will come in for Belmont.
When you talk about fast break points right now, the home team running out. And that's helping them shoot 55% in this game so far.
Burnell for Jacksonville State really been active ever since he got in. A Florida JUCO Player of the Year coming from St. Petersburg College. He's been really good in OVC play as well as opposed to his non-conference season this year. 20 to shoot here for Windler. Little off balance, hits it nonetheless, no surprise.
He and Jonathan Stark are in the running for MVP. Stark was the preseason favorite, but Windler has been on fire.
Count it out, a foul there for Gregory. Madrid branch and our entire ESPN crew. Harper has to like the way his team has responded, because if you're just joining us early in the game, it was all Belmont in the beginning, and then Jacksonville State stormed on a monstrous run.
Well, remember, it was senior night, so Jacksonville State didn't have their regular starters. Then the Gamecocks at the 15-minute mark brought in Burnell and also Gregory, and that has turned the tide. They've been on fire, shooting 58% from the field.
Belmont 6 of 12 from 3. Jacksonville State has made 4 of 6 from downtown. Windler will draw the foul here, and that's what Coach Bird told us pregame. He wants to see his team more physical on those ball screens.
Well, they're trying right now. You can see the intensity that they have tried to bring. That's how they got off to a fast start. But also right now they only have 2 scores. So Luke has scored well and Windler. But Egekeze has to come to the party. In 10 minutes, he hadn't scored.
Bruins down by 8, 9 minutes to play in our first half. And it's Windler fading away.
Love his game. It's something about 6'7", left-handed, smooth. Reminds me of somebody from 30 years ago.
10 points for him, 13 double-doubles on the year. Gregory's feeling it at home, in and out though. Kind of like the confidence from Jamal Gregory. Nonetheless, Windler falls.
Belmont's still hanging around. They have an opportunity if they hit a three-point shot to close it within 3. So they're still hanging around, and they've weathered the emotional storm of the home team.
And Hannon drains it a straightaway 3.
Dave, you can see that coming. You can see that right now. You would think the Gamecocks are up by 10 or 15 points, but Belmont has been diligent, just hanging around, grinding out, trying to compete with a physical team.
And it's stolen away by McLean. Jacksonville State led by 8. Now it's seesawed back down to a 3-point game. And Luke will get the call here from Rick Bird. McLean and an offensive foul called against Belmont.
He got his money's worth on that one. That was a good pick, he said.
Kansas takes on number 6 Texas Tech in a Sonic blockbuster. Then 5th-ranked Duke hosts Syracuse. Both games are on ESPN. We'll stream live on the ESPN.
You got on that
app.
Texas Tech.
You know, I like the way Coach Bird's team has really performed. I think they've surprised a lot of people this year, and Duke has won the last 4 of the other game as well. Syracuse trying to get into dance as the ACC is really deep.
Well said. Couldn't say it better. so you got Texas Tech like me. I'm going Texas Tech. Egekeze is back in the game, number 32 in white. He has been their second leading scorer. So let's see if he can give himself an open shot to get to the basket.
That's a good low move there by Matt Mercer. Coming off a 13-point performance in the 43-point win against Morehead State for Belmont.
That's interesting. Anything they get from their post presence, I just kind of smile to myself because Windler and Luke do the heavy lifting offensively.
JSU started 1 for 5 since they've gone a strong 10 of 16 from the field. Good defense there by Windler. Has it a mid-2.
That was an impressive play. Guarding a point guard and diving back in the passing lane to create that steal. That shows you nowadays, I hate that term, two-way player. Hate that term. He can play both sides of the floor.
Coming out there for Egekeze, 4 turnovers on JSU, holding a 1-point edge. Gregory's had a strong performance here at home. Pulls up over McLean and he's way off.
Belmont has done a better job settling in, withstanding the emotional charge with Jacksonville State.
Austin Luke tries to get his team the lead.
Yeah, that was a tough shot. They have the green light to shoot it, but that was a tough shot.
For the last few minutes, how have you liked the response here from Belmont roaring back?
Well, defensively, they're matching the intensity of the bigger front line. Look at that, right there, that hustle play. Going after it with reckless abandon.
Now it's going to be on Burnell of Jacksonville State. And 3-point shooting really advantageous, obviously, for Belmont. No exception, Windler.
We talked about him, and he was perpetual motion. We talked about his 41% at the three-point line, and it carries over. His feet are set. And he does it like the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets, they either shoot the three-pointer or they drive to the basket, and that's what he does. Little is talked about with Belmont that they're one of the top teams in the nation from 2-point field goals. because they get inside and drive all the way to the basket.
You're right. For the last 5 years, a lot of people talk about three-point shooting by Coach Bird's teams, and that's true. Before the last 5 years, they've led the nation in two-point field goal percentage. Now, that was largely due to the two-time All-American Evan Brads, and also Taylor Barnett was also a fantastic guard for them. This year, though, as you've mentioned, they have to play a little bit different.
But then are we surprised with anything with Coach Bird? Coach
Not
Bird
at all.
coaches to his personnel. He gets guys in there that he can trust and then gives them the car keys. And it's a compliment to say that he does not overcoach his players.
Has liked the job his team has done at this point in OVC play. In fact, in non-conference action, they were very successful, too. They were up by 9 against Washington, ended up losing that game as well. But a few good wins against Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky. Mercer inside with the left hand. 1 of 2 on those attempts.
Martin got away with one because when you can get 2 feet in the paint and jump hook over your favorite shoulder, that's usually a basket for the opponent.
Maurice Dunlap coming into the game at the top of your screen for Jacksonville State. It's Martin for 3. He's really feeling it from the top of the yard.
Little love, give a little love, like in Kevin Love. He's a post player, a banger, but steps out and shoots the three-pointer in the flow of the offense.
Foul's going to be called here against Cunningham of Jacksonville State.
This has been some key baskets from Martin. Every time Belmont's been on the run, the young big guy, the freshman, has been able to knock down a timely three-pointer.
And JSU shooting better from the three-point line than Belmont, surprisingly. There's the numbers there. 15 attempts from Belmont, which you would expect at this point.
Look at the spacing, the ball movement.
Was tipped away by Hunter. Their turnover on Belmont. Down by 4 on the road. Martin again. I was like you were probably on a rewind there, A.B.
Well, you know what creates that, because they come off, Drumright comes off so hard, he draws the big over to him, which leaves an open shooting pocket for his big guy.
Also Martin there as Mercer got it in the interior again. And last few possessions, they were giving it down low to Mercer, who's going to have to come out. And a lot of people don't think that he's a three-point shooter, because he gets it down low in the post, and that's a position that Coach Bird doesn't have. But he can hit those threes. Here's McClain with 17 to shoot amid the trees. Has to give it out. Luke gave it up. Adelsberger short on the reverse. Here comes JSU with Dunlap. Working on the screen there with Cunningham. Drumright's been quiet to start. Inside Martin again. Swatted away, though.
2 well-coached teams. They share the basketball. They spread the floor out. And then they get an open shot for a teammate. Watch the spacing. You can see a double team coming because they spread the floor so well.
Belmont without a basket in the last 3 minutes. 10 to shoot here for Luke for 3 and drains it.
He's got a short memory. Came back and shot a bad three-pointer, but on the next possession came back and shot a very good one, and now they're down by 1 again.
Give Austin Luke 12 in the game, and he's really improved his three-point shooting. Hunter is feeling it as well with the pull-up. 3 games here for Jacksonville. They will go in front by 3 now.
Offensively, both teams are getting what they want. You're seeing a little bit of everything right now. Jacksonville State 50%, 5 for 10 for the 3, and also Belmont 50%.
Windler was going for the tie there. Here comes Dunlop. Hasn't scored in the last 2 games. And he'll give it up to Drumright. What do you make of his performance tonight? He's been quiet on the offensive side.
Well, he's a pass-first point guard. He lets his team go. So the games that I've been watching him, he doesn't jack up offense. He doesn't look for stats. He goes with the flow of the game.
There's Belmont looking for a 3 to tie. It's Luke. Windler has the miss. Ekekese for the tie. Big rebound there to Martin.
Watch Martin. They've gotten some mileage on this high screen and roll where Drumright comes right here and passes it to his big and play off of him.
It was tipped by Windler. Pinballs to Hunter for the pull-up yet again. Falls down. Windler had it. Martin with the right hand. Strong. And it seesaws out for Belmont here. McClain is going to drop it off to Windler. And Belmont wisely going to reset here. That's the decision-making from McClain this year that's really strengthened him. Look at him drive inside. He can't get the roll. But better decision-making, and Coach Bird likes that on the Belmont half for Kevin McClain, who he calls an X-factor out there.
Well, you think about this, Dave. Because both teams are so well coached, they space the floor well, you never have to take a bad shot. Because if you're open, the ball will find you. A teammate will find you.
Drumright down low, and the reverse successful for Christian Cunningham.
Now, if Drumright was looking for his offense, he could have shot it there, but he passed up a good shot for a great shot. Watch the high screen and roll. Both offenses want to do the same thing, try to get inside and create a mismatch.
Luke just serpentining away everybody there, and it's drained yet again by Amanze Egekeze.
His first of the game.
Averaging 20 over the last 4. Last game at 17 points, 3 of 8 from 3. And another guy who's really a matchup problem because he will likely guard one of the bigger guys on the opposing team.
Yeah, he's really a natural small forward size.
Hunter Short, very active on the offensive side for JSU.
Belmont could take a lead with a three-pointer.
Windler! And Dunlap is going to let this go out as Jacksonville State is holding a 2-point edge as we reach another timeout here. Austin Luke's had a great game. He has 12.
But to have your jersey retired, and then he's got good handwriting right there. I'm impressed with the handwriting. Looks like Walt Disney. You know?
They will have a ceremony at the half of the court dedication in his honor. Won the 85 D2 national title, 85 National Coach of the Year. In fact, special treat. We'll have Coach Jones joining the broadcast in the second half.
Yeah, it would help more for Jacksonville State if they can go into this half with a lead because they've led for the majority of the first half.
Edwards driving in with the right hand out. Egekeze had it. Belmont likes that as the call is going to go against JSU.
Yeah, we're just talking about to that point. If Belmont can get the lead, think about this. They have trailed the majority of the first half, but if they get this lead going into half, psychologically, they have the advantage.
That was on Martin for JSU. And Cunningham really strong getting back in there. The active OVC block leader as well. You take a look at JSU, and one could point out that they have probably the most lethal front court in the OVC. Shot clock unplugged, 8 to go. McClain drops this off for Windler. He was rejected there by Gregory. 2 seconds to go. Giga with the prayer. Tried to get it on senior night to no avail. JSU will go to the locker room leading by 2.
Yeah, when you talk about leading by 2, 14-3 at halftime. But 20 minutes of intensity should be there again.
5 of 12 from 3. Take a look at the disparity here. Belmont into a hot start up by 7. They've since gone 2 of 8 from downtown. Jacksonville State, yes, they've cooled off right now, but as we mentioned, a lot of depth of scoring, and they're getting it done without Drumright. For Belmont, their guns right now aren't scoring as well. McClain just hindered a 3, averages over 13 points, and also
Egekeze.
Yeah, he had 3 points tonight. And he's a guy that averages more than 17 points per game.
Dave, they got to match the intensity. Belmont, they're going to shoot the 3-point shot, but they haven't been to the free throw line as well. This is the #1 2-point field goal shooting team in the nation.
Look at those bench points, 22-2. Nick Hopkins not available, missing his second straight, so Belmont is down to 9 available players for tonight's matchup.
Now, in the first half, Windler did his job, #3, and then knocking it down, moves that basketball. Egekeze has to be effective. He has to at least get to the free throw line. He and McClain.
Good defense here by Hunter. 7 to shoot here for Luke, who had a strong first half. There's the double on him. Egekeze has to see the shot clock, and he wasn't on the same page with Haddon. And there's the turnover on the Bruins. It's the team's 4th.
That's a punch in the gut. Ekekeze, we're calling your number, young man. You got game. You average 16 points a game. But he's got to dial in. Coaches would say next play. It's all about the next play now.
And if you haven't followed JSU, it's one of the best scoring defenses in the country, in the top 20 to be exact. That's been their calling card, especially when they're getting in the 60-point range. As Giga hits from 3, looks at his bench and says, all right, I'll take it.
Well, it was tentative. It was a second thought. But he's got a nice smooth stroke. Shoots the ball easy. Nice release point. Go out there and give your best Cam Martin imitation. Just let your hands go.
Windler with the right hand. Tipped in by Haddon.
You think that was a shot or assist?
I got to think that was a shot there, AB. Got to call it out.
I'm supposed to call assist. I think he's crafty enough to be creative like that.
It wasn't a strong hand, that's for sure. It's good up and under there from Drumright trying to get on the board, but that's hauled in there by Cunningham. It'll go to the charity strike.
Well, the defense was in trouble when you had Drumright playing 5 feet right there. See how close he is? He's doing his best Chris Paul imitation, playing inside the paint. You never want to give dribble penetration in close because that compromises the defense.
First foul on McLean of Belmont. Cunningham just held to 5 points in the last win. The game against Austin Peay for Jacksonville State. But 27 starts last year, getting it done this go-around as well, especially with his blocks in the interior. It's too much space for Windler.
Nice job. Luke and Windler have a dynamite 1-2 punch right now, and they're keeping this game close.
Coaching staff really asks Windler to step up, especially with Brad's graduating and also Barnett. Last 2 years, he was really a spot scorer for this team. Good move there by Giga. Is going to give it up here. Hunter for 3. Fell away for the ball. And it's going to go the opposite way. It's going to go against JSU. It's going to go against Burnell.
That's a good call. Bulldozing. I don't think bulldozing is in basketball. It might be in MMA or bull rush football.
What kind of adjustments do you want to see on the Belmont half as they're trying to lock this one up on the possession?
More balance. They share the basketball. They'll give it to the open shooter, but then you have to execute it. So they need offensive balance right there.
And it's drained again by Ekekeze. And we're deadlocked at 42.
Right on cue. And they have not played their best basketball collectively. But now they've tied up. They hadn't got that lead, but they are very much attached to this game.
Belmont, in fact, will tell you he models this game after Ryan Anderson of the Rockets. JSU in the interior. It's a good dive there by Luke. And the foul's going to be called.
Nice hustle. Cunningham being active. I never get tired of seeing good basketball. When you share the basketball, you play on both sides of the floor, and that leaves an open shooter to deliver.
Second foul on Luke inside the Hunter. Beautifully executed there. Compliments of Drumright.
Yeah, Dylan got beat on that play. He fell asleep, moving without the basketball, turned it on his own medicine.
Belmont down by 2. Windler working with Haddon.
Ekekeze passing up shots. You got to step into that shot when it's in your shooting pocket.
5 to shoot here for Luke. He's hit a few threes tonight. Ekakeze's trying to beat the horn. It's off. McLean had it. Shot clock violation. The buzzer didn't sail. The officials are all over this. It's going to go back to JSU. That's a 5th turnover.
Well, good job by the Gamecocks staying attached to the three-point shooting. Defense, well, coaching is all about adjustments, and the strength of Belmont is the three-point shot. So you see it didn't hit the rim. That's another turnover.
John Dillon, Barry Mathis, Craig Morley, the officials tonight. 5 turnovers on each team. Hunter again with the pull-up, trying to regain the lead. He cannot. Here comes Austin Luke.
I like seeing Belmont in transition to try to get easier shots before the defense gets set. That's still a good shot for them.
JSU looking to push with Gregory. Marked by 3 and wisely pulls out here. Hunter has an opportunity. Windler has the miss.
Now, this is the time in the game, 15 minutes left, where you have to be mentally tough and physically tough, not pick up cheap fouls. My teammate Kareem Abdul-Jabbar used to say, fatigue makes cowards of us all.
Adden gets it in and a foul. Compliments with a dime from Egekeze. Deadlocked here at 44. We're joined by JSU all.
You know, it's been exhilarating, I'll tell you that, because I got to see all the players. And I told all my players, you know, that's my name on the floor, but all of y'all are written right under that, because all of them are the reasons that I got that name on the floor. I found out my first year of coaching that I was an average coach but had great players. So what I tried to do was go out and find the best players I could get, and everything worked out from there. But it was great seeing all of them. And you know, and our fans, we packed this building. In fact, I got to be good friends with the fire marshal. He's the one that closed the doors when we had too many in here, so we had some great years here.
To that point, that Ray Harper said that when you guys were really banging it out, it was selling out. It was really active and really lively in here.
Oh, and listen, we had 5,500 seats in here at that time, and literally there were 500-600 people outside trying to get in. We had a great conference, and we had great rivals. They hated us, and we hated them, and you know, when we got together to play, it was like a war. The students left here. The best thing about basketball is when you leave the arena, if you're sweating and you're worn out, and you asking when you go out the door, when's the next game, then we've won that battle. We get them back in here. We had some great fans and great crowds.
And what I've liked tonight is, like, you were still coaching out there at halftime, talking to everybody. You told all your former players, all the fans to get out there saying what a marvelous job the band does on a nightly basis. You still have that fire and passion, don't you?
I'll tell you, I've been accused of, even by my wife at home, you know, when she has chicken and green beans and mashed potatoes, I get up and start giving a speech, just like we're on the tour. But yeah, listen, I love this game like no other. I'll tell you, I still am involved in it. I work with some high schools, and I do as much as I can to help kids nowadays. And it's been a great game to me, and it's just my way of giving back.
What are you proud of? What did college basketball do right? What's a gray area that they have to get better at?
Well, you know, when I was coaching, you're talking about
college basketball. Well, college basketball.
I think college basketball is too physical. I think there's too much going on, too much banging, too much bruising. The basketball, I think, was designed to be a finesse game, and I think that's been taken out a lot. And I'm not sure what to attribute that to, but the post play is always like a WWF wrestling match.
Really?
And,
this is free flowing. What do you think about this game right here?
Well, I think this transition in this game is pretty good. Belmont's knocking down some threes. They're going to have to find Luke, and they're going to have to find Windler. Those are two guys that you can't let shoot free shots. Nearly in a denial, I think, like a triangle in two, where you go out there and you stop the ball from coming to them.
I know your teams were stalwarts of the defensive end, highlighted by the 85 teams we've mentioned. What have you made of Ray Harper's system, both offensively and defensively here at JSU?
Ray Harper was the right guy for this job at the right time. Ray has been, I've known him for a year, back when he was playing even. When this job came open and I talked to Greg Sykes, the athletic director, I said, hey, look, there's a guy up in Western Kentucky.
Good block here. Whoa.
Yeah, that's a great fight. A guy in Western Kentucky that can get this program back alive, and I think that's somebody you need to talk to, and it progressed from there. But he's a guy that's going to play defensively, but he's also a guy, too, that rewards guys when they run the floor and give you hard effort.
Coach, how satisfying was that when you guys went to the tournament last year and he invited you down to come and participate with that?
You know, that's kind of hard for me to describe, because I'm sitting there, and Ray and I have talked all year, and all of a sudden he asked me to go, and I tell you, I jumped. Here's how fast I got up and jumped. I had my suit laid out that I was going to wear on the bench, and I left it. I got to Indianapolis, and I had to.
Alabama, Ray Harper's team has gone scoreless in the last 4 minutes, 0 for 5.
It's a game of runs. Of course, the urgency that Belmont has, now they're starting to get better balance. Remember, we talked about that at halftime. If they get some balance, they've been close in this game, and now they finally got their first lead.
Started out 3 of 5 in the second half, but has since gone cold until that moment there by Marlon Hunter. He's been very impressive tonight for JSU.
both teams are playing like they have something to play for. Belmont wants to win the regular season title. It's important to them. Jacksonville State wants to get into a double bye. It's important to them. And they hold the belt. They're the reigning champions in the tournament.
A drive there by McClain, a little off balance, and Martin had it for JSU. Gregory will give it back. Drum right, slicing it with the left hand. He's trying to get going here at home.
I love a hesitation dribble by a point guard in traffic. You saw that. He was able to keep his dribble alive and get separation with a driving lane.
He's not going to score the 20, 30 points like Windler will, but he will lead JSU often. McClain thought about it, going to go inside. Mercer did this a lot in half number one. Off the fingertips of Ekekeze. We reach another timeout at Jacksonville State, leading by 1 over Belmont in OVC play. Back in a moment. Since 2006, you have Mark Few of Gonzaga, Bill Self of Kansas, and Coach Bird of Belmont.
Yeah, and we talked about some of the coaching influences. I mean, we're in the presence of a legend. We're in the presence of a Hall of Famer. And he said his dad, who was a writer, 5-time sports writer of the year, back for Tennessee, back when C.M. Newton was in there and Adolph Rupp back in the 60s. So he cut his teeth watching these legendary coaching figures.
His father, Ben Bird, was a writer and followed Tennessee basketball. He used to hand out the programs out there to stay close to the game. And he also complimented, of course, John Wooden.
Yeah, exactly. And he said his dad just went on to glory at 90, I believe, a year ago. And so Coach believes he's a teacher, just like John Wooden, and doing it right. He says in hotels, my team's not going to be the loudest. When they're talking to people, their headphones are going to be out. So he's trying to mold young people, and he's been doing a fantastic job.
1-point game here in Jacksonville, Alabama. That's a good look for Windler. That was rejected by Gregory. And a big one for JSU.
That was the second time. Remember that when Windler was going in for a jam with 13 seconds left in the first half, he had a big-time block.
Hunter from the elbow. Martin trying to get it, wrestles it away, and the fans love it here at the P.
Nice job by Martin tracking the basketball. That's what you want, the effort play from your big center. In traffic, 3 jerseys around, and he powers it up to get to the free throw line.
Saturday at 4:15 Eastern, 3:15 Central, a game that could determine the Big 12 regular season title as number 8 Kansas takes on number 6 Texas Tech in a Sonic blockbuster. Then 5th-ranked Duke hosts Syracuse. Both games are on ESPN and will stream live on the ESPN app.
Dave, how about the double-double of Martin off the bench? 10 points, 10 rebounds in 17 minutes.
Yeah, he has looked really impressive and has been a spark plug for JSU. And he's really going after Ekekeze and company down low.
Well, Belmont's been in the drought, 1 for 7. So this is a game of runs, and who can keep their composure?
McClain thought about it. Luke gave it down low to Windler. Good ball movement. Open 3, McClain. He was well off. It's going to be a shot clock violation. Another turnover here on the Bruins. That is the team's 7th.
As a coach, you want to ask, is my offense getting me good shots? That was a good shot. That was just missed badly, but beautiful ball movement.
You can make a case that Belmont's one of the most spaced teams, not only the OVC, but also the country, thanks in parts of their lethal 3-point shooting. And boy, Marlon Hunter, all confidence with that pull-up, give him 14.
That's his spot, right in the corner. It's right about a 10 to 12-footer. He just knocks that thing down. But again, 2 well-coached teams. When you're seeing the ball movement, the spacing, the patience, you're seeing 2 great coaches going at it.
Here are the Bruins down by 5. Luke for 3. Mercer gets the miss and splits 2.
Excellent job by the big lefty in traffic, saving that possession. Martin did it a possession ago, saving that possession. And then you're just seeing Mercer in traffic.
Yeah, they say about Mercer, if he makes his first shot, he's going to deliver. He got off to a hot start tonight, and he has been so successful this evening. Another guy is Martin. Drum right with the pull-up.
You're seeing JSU now on a 10-2 run because they're playing with snap. Both teams, I like what I'm seeing, the concentration. It's easy to get fired up for Belmont. Giga said on senior day, this is the best team in the conference. So they've matched the intensity and been able to maintain the lead.
That's finished there by Windler again.
If there's one player out here, who would you rather be like? Who you wouldn't mind patterning your game? You got a lot of good players. Drumright, Windler, Martin. Who would you like to be like?
14 points with Windler. I love the confidence by both sides, but his game is just so creative.
Sweet.
Inside and outside. You got to be an all-around player. Of course, if I'm playing for you, right? Can't be one-dimensional. You'd sit me right on the bench.
Boy, it's a lot to love with these guys. Luke controlling the game, one of the best assist men. Egekeze. You can hit that.
Gets the roll on the road. That deadlocks it at 54 at the peak. 9 points for Amonte Egekeze.
We are seeing possibly the second of a trilogy. They could possibly meet again to see who goes to the NCAA tournament. And it's a thing of beauty.
Pull up there for Drumright, lead back to JSU. 2 in a row for Malcolm. Windler has numbers, and the foul's going to be called against Marlon Hunter. But Egekeze's been stepping up here.
Not over-analyzing, letting his hands go. And he's a young man that can score 16 points a game. Offensive, defensive game plan, and then you're just playing. This is pure basketball.
Windler at the line, 4th in the OVC in scoring at 17 points per game. In fact, leads the league in rebounding as well. Just a junior from Indianapolis and Perry Meridian High School, given 15 so far. And the guy who's complimenting his game is Austin Luke. And he's a guy that he can afford to pass and be unselfish out there. And also,
take a shot.
He can also be a guy that, yes, he's going to have a few turnovers too, and the coaches can live with that because his passing's so dynamic.
Yeah, but Luke doesn't turn the basketball over. He hadn't had a turnover in 32 minutes in this game. But again, this game is really important for Belmont as well because they lost the last 2 times to Jacksonville State. So you can see them trying to face the Giants even though they're in the tie for first place.
Cornell lengthens it to 3. Belmont deadlocked in first with Murray State. When they're trying to get the runner there was Burnell again. Here's JSU pushing.
This is what makes JSU dangerous. They can play in transition. They can defend the half court and big size travels.
Burnell's 2 for 2 on this stretch. Give him 8.
Both teams have taken each other's best shot. Now this is where mentally and physically you have to lock in and you can't give away possessions.
Luke.
Nice pass.
And that's good up and under there. The missed opportunity by Sampson. Gregory has it. Here comes Drumright.
Sampson has to match the intensity. He's only been playing 4 minutes, but he's got to pick up his intensity.
Look at those moves by Drumright over Windler, taking up the score.
Senior night. He's up to 8 points now, 6 assists. And he as well, only 1 turnover. So the starting point guards have only 1 turnover combined in this game.
A very slow start, but he's had some games like this where he's really come through at the bitter end. Sampson off the bench. 10 to shoot here for Belmont. Solicine momentarily needs help. He walked. Turnover here on the Bruins. Back to JSU.
Remember we just said, coming out of that timeout, this is the time of game where you can't give away possessions. Those were 2 empty possessions that you can ill afford.
Under the Ray Harper, he has been so good defensively, and it's just been hair pulling for Rick Byrd right now, seeing his team down by 7.
Well, look at the bench. If we get a picture of Coach Bird's bench right there, 4 guys. It looks like it's a rec center right now. They're on break. So, JSU, my goodness, 10 assists on 10 field goals, Dave, in this half.
Burnell wants to take Egekeze. It's stolen away. Hunter trying to connect. Dunlap was there, trying to save it. He ultimately can't. It was McLean who had it for Belmont. Here comes Austin Luke. doubled quickly because of his good three-point shooting in this game. Really all season as well.
Haddon was open on the post-up. They missed him on that angle.
Giga on him. There's the high-low with Haddon. Good patience by him. This will be alternating possession. But wait, a foul's called. Well, JSU can't believe it. One official on alternating possession. The other had the foul.
Well, the two big guys have been locking horns, and you've got a lot of conversation going on with both of those guys.
Well, Haddon looks like he's going to go to the free throw line here to the dismay of the crowd here at the beat.
Gregory talking to Haddon. Got to keep your composure right now.
Tonight on ESPN after UCLA Utah, it's SportsCenter at Night with John Buchagras and Zubin Mehenti. We'll take an in-depth look at the second half of the NBA season. Plus, where does Tigers game stand with the Masters just 6 weeks out? And the best Waltonisms from the great Bill Walton. SportsCenter at Night, 11 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Crowd's feeling it here.
They're feeling it. It's been testy. It's been testy with Haddon. It's been testy with Giga.
Drum right. We'll give it up to Gregory.
They're looking to blow this lead open. Can Belmont hold them and keep this crowd out of it?
Burnell, double into Hunter, over Haddon, off the window.
Jacksonville State smells the blood. They see the blood because Belmont does not have a deep bench. They're playing with such a liveliness. Look at that hustle play.
Largest lead of the game for JSU. There's Gregory going to the floor. We'll stay with Belmont here.
Look at this in traffic. 6'2" going against 6'11" and kissing it off the glass.
JSU trying to have another strong finish to their season behind Austin Peay and Tennessee State right now in the OVC standings. McClain to Egekeze. Austin Luke is open. Why not? He drains it again.
Austin Luke has done his job. He has knocked down timely baskets. 4 for 9 from the field, 4 for 9 from the three-point line. But the story in this game, Dave, can't deny this, has been the bench points. 28-4 in favor of the Gamecocks.
Only 9 available players for Bird's unit in Belmont. Giga.
5 guys sharing the basketball. That's a tough shot. Challenge shot.
Contested there by Windler, but put in nonetheless there again. It's Marlon Hunter. Who else? $18 points for him. Just a marvelous game for Hunter, native of Memphis, Tennessee.
See if Windler can get going again. He hasn't called his name offensively.
Haddon steps out for a 3. Again, way off.
It's been a workmanlike performance by the Gamecocks. This is senior night. This is a team that's trying to get up in the top 4 seeding to get a bye in next week's OVC Conference Championship.
2 seniors. A look down low instead. Here to Cunningham. Good spin move and finishes.
Everything's working right now, inside and outside, for Jacksonville State, and they've earned it. They started to wear down a feisty Belmont team.
That was tipped by Giga out to Windler for a 3. That's a big one for the Bruins.
My goodness, when you talk about a scoring 1-2 punch, Luke and Windler have been lights out. It's 18 points apiece for both of these players.
JSU, in fact, 23 assists off of their 28 made field goals tonight. Just the bench points have been outstanding for JSU with a lot more depth. Here's Giga. And a 7-point game as a seam. He'll go to the line.
Wow. Didn't see that one coming. You got a 7-footer that can turn in the open floor and was dribbling like he knew what he was doing. That was a good play.
And JSU's coaching staff will tell you, AB, that he's a guy that can run the floor. Last year had a phenomenal season. In fact, in the tournament game, dropped 30 against Louisville. Now, this year, coaches will be quite frank and say that he's played a little bit soft, not as physical in the interior, but hopefully he can have a better finish to his career.
And he's had 18. The coaching staff said there's been 18 NBA scouts to come out and check him out. You've got to check him out. He runs well. He can dunk on the vertical. He can block shots. He's got a great proportioned body, strong lower base, good weight distribution. He's a player.
Cornell's going to come in for him. 8-point game here at the Pete. Again, JSU has defeated Belmont in the last 2 meetings, including the OVC semifinal game of the tournament last year.
Belmont can score quick, so you've got to guard them. You don't want what just happened, them scoring quick, because they are a 3-point shooting team.
That was McLean. Into Gregory. Here's the full court pressure for the first time from Belmont. And broken beautifully by Drumright.
Well, you got 3 ball handlers. Gregory's a ball handler, Drumright, and of course Hunter can get where they need to get on the floor.
We get the set play from Harper.
This is a time where you have to score for Jacksonville State. You've got to continue to attack because Belmont is going to try to score quickly once they get possession.
Hunter for the pull-up. That's long. Need a rebound. It's Purnell. Can't put it in. Hunter got it back off the fluke. It's saved by Gregory. Fresh 30 here for JSU.
Tough possession for Belmont. They did everything but secure that rebound.
Gregory shredding the defense. Pull out here to Drumright. Spinning away. Tough shot. Senior can't hit it. Who wants it? It's Belmont. Bruins down by 6. Windler's going to get fouled here by Marlon Hunter.
Look at the confidence that Luke had for Hunter. He threw the ball on the other side of the court to find his playmaker.
1-on-1 coming up here for the Bruins down the stretch.
And you want these guys on the floor at the free throw line. Windler shoots 72%.
Nails the first.
You want to make this one and then push up. Try to go for a steal. They're active. They're quick. Belmont has been guarding in the full court pressure pretty well.
And a 4-point game here in Jacksonville, Alabama. Benkert just came in for Belmont on the defensive side. Bottom of your screen, wearing number 24 in white. Into Giga. Trying to lob this down, and they will successfully to Gregory. Will find Hunter. And a foul.
The home team has been beating pressure with pressure. First it was Giga at the free throw line. And then you're seeing Marlon Hunter, who is looking like the MVP of his team in this game. Big time ball pressure. I haven't seen Hunter play this well, efficiently as well. He's been efficient, 10 for 18.
One shy of his career high. Look at that move by Windler. And a quick timeout here called by Rick Bird of Belmont with 1:12 to go. And that's a couple instances where Windler's just broken free right there.
It doesn't matter. It's been at the
OVC tournament, which will take place in Evansville, Indiana next weekend. Harper's team won that last year over UT Martin, upsetting Belmont in the semifinals. 5-point game. Hunter breaks it here. And JSU's not in a hurry. Wisely, they'll reset here with Drumright, and there's the foul by Benkert. It's his 16th foul, so JSU will still have it.
Yeah, you get to the free throw line, you want Drumright. He shoots 84%. Burnell, 76%. Marlon Hunter at 78%.
Now to Drumright. Rick Bird says don't foul here. Need a stop if you're Belmont. Hunter's free, though, on the baseline. Good defense by McLean. Drum right for three. Huge one on senior night.
Big basket. That's a timely basket here. They've got to try to respond quickly. Too much time. Too much time. You got to attack.
Ekekeze misses. Clay trying to go for the miss, and there's Gregory. And the foul. Will walk the floor here at JSU.
How about that for Malcolm Drumright? Unselfish. Hit that huge three-pointer that looks like it could be a dagger. And that would be a poetic finish for him in his senior year.
JSU mired in a 3-game losing streak, looking like they're going to pull out of that. And you mentioned this pregame, that it still runs for JSU despite them being right now 5th in the OVC.
Know who has the title and know who has the power. Serena Williams, in her era, she might be 148th in the tennis ranking and come out and wax everybody. And that's the same thing. The championship will still go through Jacksonville State, it'll go through Belmont, and it'll go through Murray State.
McClain, rejected there by Gregory, but there's the foul.
I heard one of the coaches say that when Jacksonville State is clicking, when they're playing well, it's like men among boys. And they've done a wonderful job in this game, Dave. When you talk about the bench points, 29-4, almost 30-4. So that was 7 times as much scoring power coming off that bench. It's not a deep team right now. 9 bodies.
Yeah, without Nick Hopkins, we hope he gets better. Don't sleep on Belmont. Again, they're at the top of the conference right now with Murray State, too. They're looking to get that elusive first win of the NCAA tournament. Should they go back there, they haven't been there in the last 2 years. It's been Austin Peay 2 years ago, and last year, JSU.
Yeah, and it's just a matchup as well. So right now, Jacksonville State, the last 3 games, have had their number. That's a tough matchup. Anything can happen. Jacksonville State dropped some games where they shouldn't, where they lost to Austin Peay as well. They've been tough. They've been scrappy. Murray State, it all comes down to matchup. Just like in the NCAA tournament, the OVC, I believe, will be the same way.
The last 4 years, it's been the first conference to hand out the automatic bid. They've gone off in the past of the ASUD, and Drumright's going to get a huge round of applause on senior night here, going to the bench at the top of your screen. As Burnell's at the free throw line.
Wonderful job by Jacksonville State. Once Belmont got the lead, they kept their poise and they continued to push the tempo until they were able to get some separation. A 6 or 7 point differential in a close game is like a lot of breathing room against Belmont.
11-point game now. Windler was pickpocketed away thanks to Hunter. And that's going to do it here at JSU. They snap a 3-game losing skid. Will get their 10th OVC win as they defeat Belmont for the 3rd consecutive time.
They earned that one. It was a great job. We'll see you at the OVC because they may meet again in the championship game.
Hunter had 21 in the game. In fact, the OVC tournament, which will take place in Evansville, Indiana next weekend. Harper's team won that last year over UT Martin, upsetting Belmont in the semifinals. 5-point game. Hunter breaks it here. And JSU's not in a hurry. Wisely, they'll reset here with Drumright, and there's the foul by Bankert. It's his 16th foul, so JSU will still have it.
Yeah, you get to the free throw line, you want Drumright. He shoots 84%. Burnell, 76%. Marlon Hunter at 78%.
Now to Drumright. Rick Burns says don't foul here. Need a stop if you're Belmont. Hunter's free, though, on the baseline. Good defense by McClain. Drumright for 3. Huge one on senior night.
big basket. That's a timely basket here. They've got to try to respond quickly. Too much time. Too much time. Got to attack.
Akikaze misses. Clay trying to go for the miss, and there's Gregory. And the foul. We'll walk the floor here at JSU.
How about that for Malcolm Drumright? Unselfish. Hit that huge three-pointer that looks like it could be a dagger. And that would be a poetic finish for him in his senior year.
JSU mired in a 3-game losing streak, looking like they're going to pull out of that. And you mentioned this pregame, that it still runs for JSU despite them being right now 5th in the OVC.
Know who has the title and know who has the power. Serena Williams, in her era, she might be 148th in the tennis ranking and come out and wax everybody. And that's the same thing. The championship will still go through Jacksonville State. It'll go through Belmont, and it'll go through Murray State.
Klain, rejected there by Gregory, but there's the foul.
I heard one of the coaches say that when Jacksonville State is clicking, when they're playing well, it's like men among boys. And they've done a wonderful job in this game, Dave. When you talk about the bench points, 29-4, almost 30-4. So that was 7 times as much scoring power coming off that bench. It's not a deep team right now. 9 bodies.
Yeah, without Nick Hopkins, we hope he gets better. Don't sleep on Belmont. Again, they're at the top of the conference right now with Murray State, too. They're looking to get that elusive first win of the NCAA tournament. Should they go back there? They haven't been there in the last 2 years. It's been Austin Peay 2 years ago, and last year, JSU.
Yeah, and it's just a matchup as well. So right now, Jacksonville State, the last 3 games, have had their number. That's a tough matchup. Anything can happen. Jacksonville State dropped some games where they shouldn't, where they lost to Austin Peay as well. They've been tough. They've been scrappy. Murray State, it all comes down to matchup. Just like in the NCAA tournament, the OVC, I believe, will be the same way.
The last 4 years, it's been the first conference to hand out the automatic bid. We've gone off in the past of the ASUN, and Drumright's going to get a huge round of applause on senior night here, going to the bench at the top of your screen. As Burnell's at the free throw line.
Wonderful job by Jacksonville State. Once Belmont got the lead, they kept their poise and they continued to push the tempo until they were able to get some separation. A 6 or 7 point differential in a close game is like a lot of breathing room against Belmont.
11-point game now. Windler was pickpocketed away thanks to Hunter. And that's going to do it here at JSU. They snap a 3-game losing skid. Will get their 10th OVC win as they defeat Belmont for the 3rd consecutive time.
They earned that one. It was a great job. We'll see you at the OVC because they may meet again in the championship game.
Hunter had 21 in the game. In fact,